I've always been fascinated with the thought that humanity is far more than we were taught to believe, basically. Ever since I was a child, I felt like we were somehow or another restricted. And I think that the late, great Stan Lee kind of proved my point. He had a show once called, I think, Superheroes, where he went around the world traveling and showcasing people with extraordinary abilities, things that science can necessarily explain. And I think that all of us have something that's inside of us that has to just be unlocked. So that was the concept originally for how I came up with the Inkari. What values do I hope people take from it? I hope that it promotes people to be free thinkers. I hope it does unlock or unrestrict their mindsets and take them out of autopilot and make people start to think on their own again. You know, you think about how society, specifically here in the U.S., if you're different from everybody else, you're typically shunned or picked on. Whereas the ones who are following the crowd should be the ones that are shunned and picked on because they're the ones that's just being sheep, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that people just start thinking about being free thinkers and not being concerned about what society is necessarily doing. Building an original mythology, African mythology, to me was important because I've noticed since I was a child how we're underrepresented, you know, in every aspect of life. Like when it came to entertainment, when we had shows, we had two or three prominent black shows, and then all the other shows that we watched, people, their lives weren't like ours, they didn't look like us, so it was hard to connect. And so I always thought that if I had the opportunity to create characters, that I would create something based off African heritage, because we all know that every other mythology has borrowed from African mythology. I mean, it is thousands of years older than any other mythology you could think of, from Norse to Greek to Roman or whatever. Like none of that out predates African mythology. So I thought that, you know, I would do my part to try to represent that the best way that I could. How does Sacramento play a role? Sacramento plays a major role because my life when I was growing up was fast. You know, single mother could barely afford to keep the house together by herself. I was too young to work, so my life became fast. And in the process of that, so many things happened and occurred that I never slowed down. And I moved to California to basically give my career another chance at blooming, because most of the people who supported me, most of my fans, had always been on the West Coast. So I came out here for that purpose. And during that time, I went through what I would call a complete mental meltdown. And it was Sacramento, it was the area, it was the people, it was the elements that helped me to pull myself back together and regroup and get back to it the way I was supposed to do it. So I owe that to Sacramento. And I feel like all these other cities, you know, even in the Bay, they have superheroes or heroes or superpowered people that come from there. In Sacramento didn't have one. So now we have 12 that will represent Sacramento and Northern California as a whole. I would say, if I had to leave a word with everybody, I would say evolution is a lonely path. But if you desire to achieve things in life, if you desire to become the best possible version of yourselves, evolution is mandatory. You know, you can't do without it. You have to continue to grow. You have to continue to learn. You have to continue to learn how to love, learn how to grow. And it's a never ending journey. You do that until the day that you check out of the physical and move on to the spiritual. So yeah, I would say just keep evolving. That would be what I want everybody to take away from this piece today. Salute.